We've got kind of an unusual guest today. It's Hailu Mergia, an Ethiopian music star who now lives in the U.S. He came to our attention through Awesome Tapes from Africa, the website of Brian Shimkovitz, who posts cassette tapes of music from Africa, which is where he found the 1977 Tche Belew tape of Mergia's, which was recorded with the top Ethiopian band, the Walias, that he has just reissued. Mergia was among the forefront of musicians in Ethiopia who were melding blues, rock, jazz, funk, and Afrobeat into a unique sound that has gone on to have a deep effect on all African music. Since emigrating to the U.S., Hailu now drives a cab in Washington, D.C. He'll be back today by the New York City-based band Low Mentality. Let's start with a performance of the title track of Tche Belew. Live in the World Cafe studios, that is our guest today, Hailu Mergia, and Low Mentality, with a version of the title track of an album that originally came out in the 1970s in Ethiopia and has been reissued by Awesome Tapes from Africa, and we are so glad about that. Hailu, welcome very, very much to the World Cafe. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So tell me about your original issue of this album and about the Waliyas who you were playing with at the time.
Yeah, this album was recorded in 1970, and then, with the Wallace Band. Mm-hmm. And it was, back then, it's a kind of very popular album. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there are 4 guys who arranged the whole thing. Almost everybody was arranging about 2 or 3 songs together. So, like Mogus, the saxophone player, and then Johannes Takola was the trumpet player, and Mulato Astadke, and Girma Bayina, the piano player, and who is also the composer of muziqawi. So these guys are the one who arranged the whole thing, and it was a very successful album.
Now, where is the music on this record from? What are the tunes from, and what different sources in Ethiopia do they come from?
Most of them are traditional Ethiopian songs, like tche is like almost a traditional song, and then some of them are composed by some composers. So that's how it started. We did this kind of album.
Now, when did you leave Ethiopia, and how did you end up here? Because you toured with that band here, right?
Yeah, I left. We left in 1981. At the end of the 81. So we toured to the state almost 2 years. Mm. That's all.
And now you're living in the Washington D.C. area, right?
Yes, that's where I live. Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you want to do next?
Next up, we have Tourin' Free.
Hailu Mergia and the 7-piece Low Mentality playing live in our studios today. Low Mentality led by Nikhil P. Wadekar. And you guys have been here before in another form, right?
Well, I think a number of us have played at this studio for this show in different projects.
Yeah.
Like I was here before with the band Bright Moments, I think maybe 2 years ago.
Right, that's what I thought. Well, Hailu, you mentioned an album that you had out on Awesome Tapes in Africa last year. It's kind of a solo album. It's an interestingly put together album that features some different keyboards than you're playing today. For instance, it features accordion. And was accordion one of your first keyboards?
Yeah, accordion was my first keyboard, and then I switched to to organ, and then any other keyboard. So accordion is my first keyboard. And
today you're playing Rhodes and a Yamaha DX7, which you have kind of set up to sound, to my ears, a bit like an older organ, like a Farfisa or something. Was those some of the first ones you played back in the day?
Yeah. There was a Farfisa organ, and I have another like a Kromer organ. I have different kind of organs, but on the tche album, that's the Kromer organ.
I love your the lines you play. I love your playing. And what kind of melodies is it influenced by? Because it sounds very Ethiopian, but I'm just wondering where those melodies come from. Yeah.
Well, the melody are coming from old Ethiopian songs. Like what I do is like most of the time I just pick up the popular songs or melodies, and then I change the rhythm, and I change the introduction sometimes, and sometimes I put different kind of improvisation on it. That's how I do. So most of the music what I did was the old ballad song or something like that, and then we just have to do it my way.
Now, how does playing with Low Mentality compare to playing with the Wallace Band? What's it like compared to the original band you played with?
Well, the Low Mentality is almost, they sound like Wallace Band. So to me, it's not that much difference, because I'm just so surprised that after almost after the 35 years, I came back with a kind of Wallace Band sound, so I'm proud of playing with them.
Yeah, what's it like for you to have? I mean, there were a number of years where you've been driving a cab in D.C., and I understand you still do that. But what's it like for you to finally have all this focus back on your music? It must be really, really nice.
Yeah, it's almost like a kind of adventure after so many years, coming back, and almost like 22 years I never been played for public, but all that time I was practicing just for myself.
Right.
So after all this year, when I came back to the music business, and when I play with the Low Mentality Band, and it's a really good adventure.
Do you get people getting into your cab and recognizing you as a musician?
Yeah, most of the time, especially Ethiopians, when they come to my cabs, when they see my name, they just recognize me, and then they said, "We know this name. Are you the one who's playing keyboard, organ, or something?" Yes, that's what I told them. Yes, I am. And then sometimes they ask me, very few of them, if I can play some my music in the cab. So I do that. It depends what kind of customer I have.
You would set up the keyboard on the other seat.
That one is like when I have a break time, like after I drop somebody, when I have a break, like half an hour or 1 hour for the next trip, and then I just grab my keyboard from the trunk and then sit down, at the back seat and just practice.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, my understanding is you're going to finish up with a song that is definitely the best known on this original album, and kind of a huge hit in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Muziqawi Silt finishing up our session today. A wonderful set in our studio from Hailu, Mergia, and Low Mentality. Well, thank you so much for playing live. It's a real treat.
Thank you, the same here. Thank you.
And big thanks to Hailu, Mergia, and Low Mentality playing live for us today. And we'll be back in a moment here in the World Cafe.